It always smells really bad at this park. Don't know where it's from because there's so many industry. This is my son's favorite playground to play at. He loves the swings. Once I turn my head and stop looking at my son's beautiful face, I could see massive industry, this daily reminder that industry dominates our life here. The southeast side is seen as this dumping ground, the sacrifice zone. It's been a source of industry for 100 years, and there's this toxic legacy that needs to go away. The southeast side has a lot of multi-generational families. A lot of folks haven't left. It's predominantly Latino and African American. Really low income, but it's also a really tight-knit community. Everyone really cares for each other. You walk into the store and you're like, oh, my dad used to work with your dad at the mill. I'm a third-generation resident. My great-grandfather immigrated from Mexico in the 30s to work at the U.S. Steel Mill.
Everywhere you look along the Calumet River in Chicago's southeast side is big industry. But this story begins 20 miles north with a metal shredding facility operated by General Iron.
General Iron is a notorious polluter that had been in operation for 100 years in Lincoln Park, which is predominantly white, really wealthy part of Chicago. The residents complained, and the mayor at that time really listened to them.
This is where General Iron used to be. This actually was all different piles of scrap metal. You could smell the facility. You could hear the facility crushing metal, breaking glass. You could feel the tingling on your tongue. Your eyes would be burning. A number of our neighbors met at a town hall. We strongly felt that if General Iron could not get into compliance on the north side, it wasn't going to be able to stay in compliance anywhere in the city. And so we wanted to get General Iron into compliance in our neighborhood or shut down. So like in these cracks and then in these garden areas is where you'd see the fluff. So this is a General Iron worker in our alley. This fiberglass fluff is not supposed to leave its facility, and yet people would be in our neighborhood on a regular basis cleaning up this fluff. It's kind of silly looking, right? Like it is funny looking until you find out that it's toxic. On March 12th of 2020, one of our city inspectors finally went to General Iron, and this is what the person wrote in their notes. I could not fully inhale, nor could I keep my eyes open at this location. When leaving the area after the inspection, I could feel my nose throbbing and chest discomfort. That's our city inspector saying this about General Iron after one visit.
Later in 2020, General Iron shut down in Lincoln Park. But 2 years prior, it had been purchased by scrap metal recycling company Reserve Management Group. RMG replaced General Iron with Southside Recycling and built this new facility on its existing property in the southeast side. A spokesperson for RMG declined to appear on camera with NBC News. According to the company's website, the facility would use what it calls the latest environmental protection technology to recycle up to 2 billion pounds of scrap metal annually. All it needed was a permit from the city to start operating.
Here is George Washington High School, and then right behind me from where I'm standing, you can see in the far distance is where potentially General Iron would be relocating.
It's really difficult to not see that as environmental racism and to not see that as unjust. This garbage bag is being dumped in our community.
Just going outside, it's hard to breathe. We're fighting for clean air, and that's something that we shouldn't have to do.
Right now, we're just fighting against that permitting process of General Iron moving to the southeast side. We want to show that people power will always be above political power.
Our first rally we held was in front of George Washington High School. There were students, teachers, community members from all across the Southeast side. Even though we might seem small, our voices are going to be heard.
We have to come together as a community to show them we are not playing around. We are not going to stand for this.
The polluters are just going to push us out of the way, and the next thing you know, there will be no Southeast side. The Southeast side is going to be pollutants, and I don't want that to happen.
Following months of pushback from the community, including a hunger strike, the federal government stepped in. In May 2021, the US EPA advised the city to conduct a thorough public health study before issuing the facility's operating permit.
So in this map, you can see that the areas of highest cumulative environmental burden are located along the southwest corridor, and then you have the southeast side.
Within Chicago, there are a couple of different designations for industrial zones. But essentially what they do is they say in these portions of the city, you can do things like establish hazardous waste facilities, or you can build an asphalt plant. The southeast side is the most permissive. It allows the greatest range and the heaviest of industries to be located in that community by code. Communities like the southeast side are not the exception. They are the result of a system that is built to produce these inequalities. You have people who have low incomes, who are Black or Latinx, who have been forced to live in vulnerable or toxic land. And we have done little to nothing as a country to really reverse a lot of that legacy.
And then where's the turtle? Look, there's a turtle. Right now, my son is actually in a health study with the University of Kentucky. He is getting his toenails tested for heavy metals, since that is a contamination issue here on the southeast side.
Okay, let's rinse.
If the city grants the permit for general iron, of course I will be upset, but I will not be defeated. We've suffered long enough. There needs to be, cleaner facilities here on the southeast side.
The city is getting closer to a decision on allowing a scrap metal recycling plant to operate on the southeast
Earlier this week,
side.
a city assessment said the plant would not have an adverse effect on residents' health, but advocates who've been protesting the plant
And
disagree.
we will be in touch very soon with further information about the report as well as the permit decision.
Just found out the permit is denied for general iron. We won. So many years of my life and my son's life has been dedicated to stopping this facility from opening. I am utterly speechless. I cannot believe that this has happened. This is only the beginning, so we have a lot more work to do, but today we are going to celebrate because justice has prevailed.